This is vengeance. This is night. This is the Flick Pick Live Show. Hey there, guys. How are you doing? Welcome back to a brand new Flick Pick Live Show. Thanks for joining me once again. I have a delicious caffeinated beverage right here ready to go. And today, the only main thing I want to talk about, actually, there's two things I really want to talk about. But first and foremost, we have some early reactions to the Batman movie. This is the reason I'm still alive right now. This is my most anticipated movie of this year by far. And very quickly, before we dive into it, check out the cool leather jacket. This was sent to me by a company called New York Jackets. I'll put the link down below. I think this is real leather. Maybe it's fake. I don't know. Either way, it doesn't make me feel like a vigilante of the night. When you zip it up, you have the Batman logo right there. And it kind of makes me feel cool. I don't know like where I would wear this out in public. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. But for right now, I'm going to wear it right here. And it does feel good. It's like padded on the elbows and stuff. Yeah, it feels nice. I wish it came with a cape and cowl, but unfortunately it does not. But I would recommend checking it out if you need a cool Batman leather jacket. And I just might wear this shit to the IMAX early screening of the movie because it makes me feel kind of tough. But with all that said, let's just dive into these early reactions, and then immediately after this, we'll talk about one more thing, and then we'll dive into your questions. And this is going to be an hour live show tonight, because immediately following this at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, I am doing a members-only and a Patreon supporters-only hangout session, which if you want to check that out, click the link in the community tab or on the Patreon feed. So let's dive into the first reactions of the Batman, and they're looking pretty good thus far. All right, this is going to come from Screen Rant, and the title says, The Batman First Reactions Released Early, and They're Good. Well, that's a good start. We'll go with that. Now, keep in mind, the embargo for this doesn't lift for a few more days. So these first reactions, they're very vague, to say the least, and I think they got away with it because they were so vague, but they all look good to me thus far. We have Hannah Flint here from MTV Movies. MTV Movies, take this with a grain of salt, but Matt Reeves delivers a nail-biting and fun Batman coming-of-age story. That gets me excited, and I'll tell you why. The coming-of-age story, I love movies with that aspect, and the fact that they're really focusing on that in this film, as she says, gets me excited. I like that element into this film. I feel like we've never really seen a younger Batman transition into actually becoming that vigilante. So, yeah, that's awesome. We have Unilad here. We have absolutely euphoric. Ooh, a euphoric experience. My body's ready. Both my George Clooney bat nipples are hard. And then you have Total Film says sensational. Empire says gripping. Shortlist says one hell of a movie. That's probably what I would have put for my quote. I would have made both my bat nipples hard. And then we have one here from Insider. Robert Pattinson will be your new favorite Batman. And that's the statement I really want to talk about right there. And the reason is that's a big statement, okay? Robert Pattinson will be your favorite Batman. Now think about some of the incarnations of Batman we've had. We've had Michael Keaton. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. That one of my childhood favorites. Then we went to Val Kilmer. Yeah, kind of forgettable. Then we went to George Clooney. We will not say his name here, nor will we reference Batman and Robin ever again in this live stream. That was enough. I think you get what I'm going for here. Hey, Freeze, I'm Batman. No, you're not. You're George Clooney in a shitty rubber suit with hard nipples. And then after that, we, of course, got my personal favorite incarnation, and that was Christian Bale as a Caped Crusader. And I loved what Christian Bale did. A lot of people complain about the voice. Oh, it's too gurgly. I can't hear what he says. Does he have throat cancer? I don't know. That's the biggest badass cancer patient I've ever seen. Yeah, I loved the voice. And the thing is, I never understood the complaints because if you're a dude wearing a mask and a disguise, you don't want anyone to know who you are. So just by making your voice deeper, that's not going to conceal anything in reality. Where are the drugs? You would never give the trigger to a new citizen. I liked the voice. I thought it was intimidating. If a dude like that came running at me in a black latex suit in an alleyway at night and he started yelling at me like that, I would tell him whatever he wanted to know. You want the drugs? I got them right here, man. Take them. And then we, of course, got Ben Affleck as Batman. Very short-lived. I wish he would have got a solo movie. Unfortunately, it never happened. I loved the interpretation of that Batman, the Dark Knight Returns-esque Batman, the grizzled, over-the-hill, sort of like I'm over Gotham City and crime. I just want to start killing people now. But I did like Ben Affleck's portrayal of Batman. I wanted more. We didn't get it. But Robert Pattinson is Batman. At first, 3 years ago, if you told me this, I would laugh in your face. I even have a Q&A video from 3 years ago where someone said, did you hear the rumors of Robert Pattinson possibly becoming the new Batman? And I laughed at such speculation. Even though at the time, I thought Robert Pattinson was a good actor. You know, he moved on from Twilight. He was starring in movies like Good Time, which if you've never seen that movie, go watch it right now. You will be sold on him. He can do grit. He can be like a shady dude in a movie. And in this film, I like that maybe he is the hero, but also sometimes Batman doesn't really stay in the rules of society. He goes outside of them, which is why he's an awesome vigilante who happens to just be super rich. It's sort of like a daydream of mine I always have. But yeah, the fact that this first reaction says this will be your new favorite Batman. You know, the thing is, in all fairness to all the other Batman films, which I do love, we've really never got that grounded, superhuman, just 20s dealing with the loss of his parents. Yeah, we've seen flashbacks of that in the previous Batman films, but we've never really got that much humanity from it. By this point in all the movies I've seen, it's sort of like Batman's already made up his mind what he's going to do. He is who he is, and then he goes out and fights crime. The thing that gets me most excited about this is maybe we get that tipping point right before he decides that. You know, that would be phenomenal. In all fairness, backtracking what I just said, I guess in the Batman Begins, we sort of did get that tipping point movie where he goes to confront Falcone and he gets slapped in the face. Then he gives a homeless guy his jacket and jumps on a boat to understand the criminal masterminds and then goes to prison. But, you know, we never got another version of that. So either way, guys, those are my quick thoughts on the first reactions. I'm just glad they're all positive. I'm hoping... I just need this movie to be good. I really do. They get me excited. I know reviews coming out in a few more days. But yeah, chime in. Let me know what you guys think about these first reactions. The thing is, they said... The thing about the reactions, though... They said this will be your new favorite Batman, but will it be my new favorite Batman movie? Those could be two different things if you really think about it. All right, guys. Yeah, just give me the Batman right now. Really, that's all I have to go off right now. There's not a lot of other information, and there's some other reactions, but they pretty much all echo what I just said. Someone said, Michael Barton says, John, you forgot to mention Adam West. I am Batman. Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb. Yeah, Adam West, I listen, 1960s, hey, that was Batman for most people. As a young kid, I watched the VHS copy of the Batman movie. And for some odd reason, I always thought I needed a bottle of shark repellent just in case. I don't know. And then I watched Batman Forever and figured I wanted a Batman credit card. All right, guys, there's one more topic I want to talk about before we continue on into all of your questions, and I assure you we will get to all of your questions very shortly. The next topic I really want to dive into here is yesterday they put out some artwork for an upcoming 4K release of a little movie. You might have seen it. It's called Spider-Man No Way Home, and I really enjoyed the movie. It made my number one movie of 2021, and just because it made me feel like a little kid. You could eat some popcorn, have a good time, and the thing I really most enjoyed about Spider-Man No Way Home was it gave us what we wanted to see. They gave it to us. Thank you, studio. But with all that said, they did release the artwork for the Spider-Man 4K, which I'm a huge advocate of physical media. I buy it. I love it. The bitrate, the picture quality, the audio quality cannot be topped with streaming, and I will stand by that until the day I die. But here's the artwork of Spider-Man No Way Home on 4K. Now, keep in mind, there's many different renditions of the physical releases coming out. I would recommend going to Best Buy and getting the Steelbook copy of the film, which has superior artwork. I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to. But real quick, I just wanted to talk about this. Now look closely at this artwork on the screen. Spider-Man is swinging across the city. He has his web in the most awkward position you could. And to me, it looks like Spider-Man's about to floss his ass with his web. Like he's going to give himself a web wedgie. It's just the weirdest pose you could ever, like, put the web in front of him. Like it's like behind him, between his legs. He's straddling it. He's riding it like a witch on a broomstick. And furthermore, I want to dive a little bit deeper into it because things like this eat me alive. I don't know why. I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't explain it, but I try my best. And when I do explain it, I try to do it in front of 300 people live. But the background also bothers me. Now, first of all, it just looks like either a generic wallpaper that would have come with your PC the day you bought it from Microsoft, or it looks like one of the Inception posters blurred and twirled on Photoshop a little bit more. Now, I know there's sequences in the film from Doctor Strange where he adjusts reality and things like this sort of occur, but it just something about that background. Doesn't that just look so bland and tiresome and does not fit the vibe and feel of the film? So for me, what I would have done with this is the secret's out. Why not put all 3 Spider-Men on the cover, which will only entice people to like, oh, whoa, what is this? I want to pick this up and buy it. It gets you excited instantly to watch the movie. It's not a twist or a secret anymore. So why not put all 3 Spider-Men on the cover and then have like the moon behind them and them swinging into action? I mean, anything would have been far more exciting than what this is. I don't know what it is with the graphic design department at Marvel or Sony, but it baffles my brain that this is the best design they had to go with. Like, out of everything you could do, this is the one you're going for. I don't know. It just looks like I went to school for graphic design, so things like this, like, feel like acid poured into my eyeballs when I see them. And it just looks like something like a first year graphic design student would have designed, or like a kid who just learned how to use Photoshop would do, but they wouldn't really think about the logistics of like where to put the web. Where should I put the web? I don't know. Put it up his ass. That'll be good. So either way, guys, those are my quick thoughts on the Spider-Man 4K cover. I just felt like I had to get those out, and a tweet just would not justify what I really wanted to say. All right, with all that said, let's dive into your questions, and we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about for about the next hour. And like I said, immediately following this at 9 o'clock, I will be doing a members only. So if you're a member here on YouTube, you guys can click the link on the community tab, or if you're a Patreon supporter, go to the Patreon feed and click the link if you join the Ask Anything perk. So I look forward to seeing all of you guys on a Zoom call, and you guys can chime in. You guys can talk to me. The only thing I would say is, please wear some headphones so there's not a lot of echo and reverb in the Hangout, if you can. All right, guys, let's dive into these questions here, and we already got a crap ton of them ready to go. All right, Schwartz18 says, "Hi, John. Thoughts on Cliffhanger, favorite death?" What a dark first question to start off the day with, but I'm going to go with I love me some Cliffhanger from Stallone. Favorite death scene is probably the opening scene, and that's the reason I will never start climbing the side of mountaintops. I feel like I have the upper body strength to do it, but I just don't feel like I have the will to live. But that opening scene in Cliffhanger was great. Gabe DeGenova says, "Hey, John, do you own an Oculus VR?" I have some type of VR headset that does 3D when you hook it up to your phone. I don't have an Oculus, though, but I have some like off-brand version of it. What is this? Aneurysm Fun? That's a great name. Hey, John. The Shawshank Redemption versus Green Mile. Which film do you think is better? I'm going to go with Shawshank. I think it's far more rewatchable. Even though I did watch Green Mile, I've seen it probably a handful of times. Mr. Bojangles go down to Mouth City. Pussy wet more dolo dance. Got a squish in his pants. I love me some Green Mile. I love it. But for me, Shawshank Redemption by far. I mean, just the story alone about redemption and Morgan Freeman. I always wanted a best friend like Morgan Freeman, just to like narrate my life story. And then he did a live show talking about early reactions of the Batman. I don't know what that was. Not a very good impression. Mr. Hank Dunn says, I believe X is never too realistic for X. You could put Superman in the Dark Knight trilogy and make it work. Meeting aliens today to sci-fi, but one day it won't be. I'm kind of confused by this question. I believe X is never too. Oh, okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but sometimes if you put some supernatural, overpowered being in an ultra realistic movie, it sort of like takes you out of that ultra realistic movie to where all the trials and tribulations that character encountered are now sort of just whisked away because this guy, nothing can hurt him, bullets can't penetrate him, which sort of just undoes the vibe of that ultra realistic movie that you had. It sort of makes the stakes less than now. For me, that's just, I think there's a balance, and sometimes it's a very fine balance that you can achieve, but I don't always think that's the case, though. But thank you for the question. Mr. Hank Dunn also says, Affleck will always be my favorite Batman. Don't get me wrong. I really wanted that solo outing of the Batfleck movie with Deathstroke. I was looking forward to that for about 3 years. And unfortunately, I think the fandom just got to Ben Affleck, and he's like, listen, I'm tired of hearing about Batman. I need to stop doing this shit. I don't need to do this. I have more money than I know what to do with. I got to play Batman for a few movies. I think he got it out of his system. And then after that, it just got tiresome for him. I mean, if you look at his press junket screenings of the, what was that really forgettable mob movie that he made, Come By Night, or at whatever the mob movie he made was. It was not my favorite Ben Affleck directed film. I still much prefer The Town. But every question was something about the Batman. And you could just see the life draining from that man's eyes during that press junket. I was like, yeah, he doesn't have much longer in him. Call by Night, something. What was that called? I don't know. Josh Coffey says, see you at 9, Flick. I'll see you guys there. Like I said, the link to join the Zoom call is on the community tab and Patreon feed. So it's there right now. Just click it after this live show, and we'll start it up at 9 o'clock. Mike Spoon says, hey, John. I work at a retail store, and sometimes I help security catch thieves when they need it. And when we confront the thieves and they try to get away, I look at them in the eyes and yell, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Works every time. Unless they're high on methamphetamine, they just start biting you with their infected mouth spit. Yeah, man, I actually had an early YouTube video on this channel, if you want to watch it, if you get super bored, where I was in Walmart, and I went to the Redbox to rent Larry Crown on Blu-ray. Don't ask why. I don't know why. I like Tom Hanks. I just wanted to see the movie. But that leads into the second part of my story. So while going to the Redbox at Walmart, I noticed this guy gets tackled in the front lobby trying to steal a bottle of liquor by an undercover loss prevention officer, and he tackles him into a box. They're wrestling around. The liquor's like flying across the floor, and I caught it all on video. It was the most beautiful thing I've ever done. I was just shooting like some stupid little vlog video, and I look over and I see this. So if you want to watch that video, it's probably one of the earlier videos on this channel. Unfortunately, it's demonetized because I guess it's just too violent for YouTube. Either way. Claudia Rogajon says, Bale thought he ruined his audition because his voice. Yeah, I've seen the Bale audition tapes in the Val Kilmer outfit, which was a little too small for Christian Bale. And yeah, I maybe, but hey, the voice worked, man. It got him the gig, right? So I think American Psycho helped get Christian Bale the gig as well. Mr. Hank Dunn says, I got told by lots of people, what celebs have you got? I don't know what the question means, man. I got told by lots of people, what celebs have you got? I don't know what that means. I've met a few celebrities. I met Jake Gyllenhaal. I met Skarsgård, the dude who played the Tarzan in 2016. I met Sean Bean. I don't know what the question entails, though. Michael Parton says, you forgot to mention Adam West. We already covered that. Daniel Barcurio says, can you do an impression of Owen Wilson as Batman? Wow. Gosh. My heart's pumping. We're like just two young kids. We're racing to the finish line. We want to get there, but we can't. Joker, I know you got your problems. I have mine, but gosh. Whoa. I can't do a very good Owen Wilson impression. Riddler, I get it. You're asking questions. I'm like a young kid just trying to make it through life. I don't. I'll work on the Owen Wilson impression. Wow. That's all I got. Okay, Ben Gupoyan says, how you doing? Are you doing good, dude? Hope you're doing good, dude. I hope I can read one day. Yes, Ben, doing well, man. I hope you're doing well. Hope everyone watching right now is doing well. Hope everyone's getting excited for the Batman. I hope you have your early IMAX tickets to the fan event happening on Tuesday. I'm super pumped, man. I need this. This is the cinematic experience I've been needing for a long time. And I know everyone's like, "Oh, you're a Batman fanboy." No, I love a good vigilante movie that's like dark and a little bit grounded and seedy. But if that vigilante just so happens to also be Batman, that to me is the perfect culmination of everything I've ever wanted to see. Let's keep going. That was worth $2. Yeah, it was not much more, but I will say my Owen Wilson impression was we'll leave it at $1.99. Aneurysm Fun, and thanks for the super chat, Aneurysm Fun. Very generous, man. What are your thoughts on Christian Bale playing Gore, the God Butcher in Thor: Love and Thunder? Gore is a great character, and I think he'll be one of the best villains in the MCU. I don't know much about the character, but the fact that Christian Bale signed on to play the character, that right there gets me excited because I know the man takes pride in the things that he does. And he's also a very good character / method actor. And I hope he really just chews up the scenery because I think the thing that the MCU needs is another great villain in its films. And sometimes its villains are like hit or miss. But yeah, Christian Bale is a villain. I hope like they really do something with him where they don't just kill him off in one movie. I want him to almost be like the Joker to Thor. Like if he can do something along those lines, that would be phenomenal, but I don't know much about the character. He can just talk like Batman. That'll be fine for me. Silo says, "Hey, Johnny Bones, what are some actors and actresses you really dislike despite good performances?" I don't know. I don't like watching Lady Gaga in movies. I don't know why. I don't necessarily think she's bad. I just could live without it. Take that how you will. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a few other actors that I didn't like. Katie Holmes in Batman Begins. I think she's the Achilles heel of that film. Like if her acting was any worse, it would have like kind of ruined it a little bit. The next one comes from Airstrike. John, you should do an entire live stream in a Batman cape and cowl. Well, I'm doing it in a Batman leather jacket. I don't know if I can zip this bad boy up. I did pec day today at the gym, and I'm feeling a little bit pumped right now. So, how's that for you guys? Does that feel good? It's actually Kevlar plated. It can stop anything but a straight shot, and it'll protect you from dogs and knives. None of that's true. But like I said, the link to this is down below at New York Jackets. Cool company. And I may just have a Riddler jacket coming very soon too, which gets me excited. All right. Young Doss says, what trilogy is better, The Matrix or Pirates? That is because for me, the only two, really, with both those trilogies, the only film I like from them are the first films, which I think the first films are like incredible of each trilogy. But everything after that, I'm just like, I could live without watching that. Pirates of the Caribbean 2 is watchable on a rainy day. Matrix 2 is, for me, after like the chase scene on the highway, I have to stop watching it. I'm gonna fuck. That's The Matrix only because the first film was so revolutionary. I'm gonna go with that. I have to go with that. Stephen Masser has become a member. Thanks, Stephen. Yay! So yeah, thanks, man. And join the live stream later tonight, or the live hangout. Hayden Cash says, hey, John, listening to you at work and at Costco, I'm going to see Batman on Tuesday. I can't wait. I'm ready for vengeance. Yeah, me too, man. Seeing it Tuesday, 7 o'clock. I see, it's a 3-hour movie, and I have a baby bladder, so I think what I'm going to do is wear a diaper. I'm going to wear like a Batman diaper during the movie. I don't want to get up. I just refuse to get up. By the way, I hope you're doing good at Costco. Just went to Costco yesterday, man. Good stuff. Love it. The next one comes from Age of the Keyboard Warrior. Do you think the Joker will be introduced into the new Batsy movie? Also, why is life difficult sometimes? Because if life was never difficult, you wouldn't enjoy the good times of life. And it all would just blur together and be the same thing. You need ups and downs. You need those downs to make the ups feel that much higher. And what doesn't kill you simply makes you stranger. So yeah, as far as the Joker being in it, now listen, I don't know. I've heard some rumors. I've heard some speculation. I've heard from test screenings. There could be some introduction, a reference of at least. I don't really want to know if he is in the movie. But I feel like not to mention him would be a missed opportunity. Zane says, hey, Johnny English, what are the 8 rules of Flick Club? Well, the first rule is we don't talk about it. But the second rule is bring your own Sour Patch Kids, your own energy drinks, and frozen pizza. I don't know. And wear a diaper. I don't know. Bakatir has been a member for 14 months. Yay! Thanks, man. It's been a while. Hey, hello, John. Been a while and looking dapper as ever. Glad to be here for 14 months. Thank you. Hoping all is well with you, my good sir. Well, thanks, man. And I hope all is well with you as well. Thanks for that, man. All right. The next one comes from Billy M. Ever received screeners or had offers of using your channel as a marketing tool for indie films or maybe to show short films that you liked? Extra money? I've been offered screeners of a lot of movies, and I've usually, if I get one, I would talk about it. I get a lot of early copies of Blu-rays, but not necessarily a screener. Now, I know you can sign up to be one of the press members of the Academy Awards or something like that, Film Critics, something, and you can get early screeners of some of the upcoming nominated films for that. Never done it. So yeah, I've never really gotten screeners sent to me of movies for an early release. Indie films, I guess, would be a stronger possibility. I have had offers for, they want to send me like their indie film and I watch it and I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that. And then I'm just like, I don't want to be obligated to talk about it. So I've never really pursued it too hard. But if there was like a cool indie film and they were like, hey, we want to send it to you to check it out and review it, yeah, of course I would. But a lot of the offers I get for some of the independent films are just very shoestring budget films. Claudia Rowijan says, he meant, what celeb do people say you look like? Oh, what celebrity do people say I look like? Years ago, when my face was a little softer than it is now, people would say I sort of had a male version of Scarlett Johansson thing going on. Did I just ruin Scarlett Johansson for you, or did I make her better? I don't know. That was one. I'm trying to think who else people said I look like. I don't know. I feel like my face at the right angle has this ability to sort of look like multiple different people. You know, if I just do my hair a different way, I can look completely different. But I mostly I got the male version of Scarlett Johansson, at least back in the day, which isn't bad. I'll take it. No complaints from me. The next one comes from Mr. Hank Dunn says, I got told by lots of people I look like Gyllenhaal. Not a bad dude to look like, man. Not a bad dude to look like. Hey, if you look like Jake Gyllenhaal, life, you can't have a complaint about anything in life. Michael Serta says, do you have any hot toys? Much love, brother. Thanks, Michael. I don't have any hot toys. I find them very expensive. And plus, I don't really have a great place to display them. So here's my thing with hot toys. I'll keep it real with you. I think there's a lot of cool, like, figures released from Hot Toys, like the Batman figures and stuff. But something about those, like, I don't necessarily want to display like a 14-inch tall Batman. Something about that doesn't do it for me. But like, I would rather have like movie memorabilia, or I would rather have like the Tumbler. I'd rather have the endoskeleton from Terminator 2 Judgment Day. I would rather have, I don't know, a lightsaber from Star Wars. I don't necessarily want Luke Skywalker, a little figure of him 14 inches tall on my shelf. Like, I'd rather have like Darth Vader's helmet instead. Just for me, that's my preference when it comes to like decorating with movie memorabilia. But I say all that with a 2 foot tall Ben Affleck Batman right there. So I sound like a hypocrite. But that didn't cost $500 either. So the next one comes from Stephanie Myers. Hey, John, have you noticed any decline in movie etiquette? Thanks for the live stream, and you look badass in that jacket. I'm ready for the Batman. My body is ready. Take me now, Robert Pattinson. That's something I never thought I would say, but here I am saying it. Team Batman. I have noticed a decline in film etiquette or movie theater etiquette for many, many of years. And that's why the theater experience that used to be so magical and mystical and it had such a close, profound place in my heart has sort of faded away. Like, I love going to the movie theater. I love the experience when it's good. But let's be honest, it's a 50-50. It's a coin toss at best when you go to the movie theater. Are you going to walk in? Is there going to be that annoying asshole, a group of teenage girls, some stupid kids talking and texting on their phones, people who just like feel the urge to talk every 3 minutes, people chewing with their mouths open with popcorn right behind you, and then they sneeze on top of your head? You do not know what you're going to get when you go to the movie theater. The movie theater is like a box of chocolates. Some of them are annoying as fuck. So yeah, with all that said, yeah, I have noticed a decline, and it's really ruined the experience for me. And that's why I'm very particular. You know, if I go into a theater and I hear a crying baby, I'm done. No, if I walk in and I sit down before the movie starts, I'm out of here. I'm done. That will not taint my experience. So I will go to a different Showtime or another movie, because things like that really eat away at me, and I cannot enjoy the movie. So yeah, I have noticed a decline. I also have noticed, what is it with people that sit in the front row of the movie theater that have the largest phones I've ever seen? This is like a 7-inch phone. It's an iPhone. They literally have iPads as iPhones. They're 4 foot long, and they keep the brightness on extra bright, where you can put it over your face, and it's like the power of the sun shining into your eyeballs. And what they do every 5 minutes during the movie is they check their Snapchat to see if they got a notification, and you can just see this glaring bright light shining at you in the dark auditorium. And I just want to walk up behind them, take the phone, and say, listen, no one cares. Just go out in the hallway if you want to check your fucking notifications. What are you doing? Who are you? It's insanity to me. I remember years ago, it was at I forget, it was a horror film, and there was a kid in front of me that was checking like his Instagram every 4 seconds. Like, so I went up behind him. I got real close to his ear, and I said, "Put your phone away." And he went like that, and then he did it. Nowadays, I feel like you'd get canceled for something like that. But you know what? That's a sacrifice I'm willing to make for a good theater experience. So I hope I answered your question. The next one comes from Zane. Hey, Johnny Batman Flickinger the Third. Thank you for that. What do you think of the sad, pathetic people in the world who say The Dark Knight is overrated? Also, if Batman came to your house and needed to use the bathroom, would you let him? Batman could shit in my sink. That is fine by me. Yes, as far as... listen, people say everything's overrated or underrated. There's so much blind fandom and hate. I don't know what it is. If a movie's really good... Some people will say it's overrated, but what is overrated? You know what? I define it. Give me a clear-cut definition of what overrated is. At the time, The Dark Knight was everything it needed to be. It was a visceral experience, and it was perfection. JBP91 says, what are your thoughts on the AR cut of Suicide Squad, John? I could not give a shit at all. I'm sorry, I just don't care. I don't care what extra scenes you include in that film, what extra plots you include. If it's still Jared Leto as the Joker and everything else in the film is still there and it's not a completely different movie than the one we saw, I just don't care. I don't want more of that. Like, no matter how much more you have, I don't want it. Like, I want less of it. Default says, with the announcement of the Batman is the start of the new trilogy, what Batman/villains comic book storylines would you want to see in the next one? I think the Joker needs to be built up to some degree at some point. If this is a trilogy, I mean, not to have another rendition of the Joker or reference the Joker would be a missed opportunity. But it's really hard to top Heath Ledger, or I mean, maybe they'll do something with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. That would make a lot of sense. But we will see. I would say, I know there was some speculation or rumors going around that Mr. Freeze could make his appearance. Which, if you really think about it, now get the Arnold Schwarzenegger stuff out of your brain. Chill, okay? Everyone just chill out. I would say if you made a new Mr. Freeze, and if we're going into this psychotic wasteland of Gotham City where people are serial killers, sort of like the Riddler is, you could have a great sort of like mob guy serial killer called Mr. Freeze. He's so evil, he's just cold-hearted. And I actually would focus on some reality aspects of things that actually have happened in the past. Many years ago, there was actually a mob hitman called the Iceman. So that could be some influence. But I think you could do a Mr. Freeze. Maybe he likes to, maybe one of the ways he likes to kill people is he likes to freeze them, or he likes to freeze them and make them feel pain. I don't know. I think there is something you could do with that would be really cool. And as far as storylines go, as far as one I always really enjoyed was the Long Halloween, and I've heard the Batman has nods to the Long Halloween storyline in this film. So I feel like I'm sort of getting what I want to see, or at least I hope I am when I watch the movie. Gabriel Kaner says, "Hey John, we just released a new 30-second teaser for Scream Legacy on our Scream fan film coming in March. We hope you like it, and thanks for checking out the last trailer." Well, thanks, Gabriel. Yeah, Gabriel, if you guys want to check it out, Gabriel actually made a really cool Scream trailer, like a fan film trailer, which was really well done. I watched it. I would say it's probably better than the actual Scream trailer in a way. So yeah, check that out on YouTube. Just search Scream Legacy. So thanks for that, man. And I will check it out later tonight. Mr. Hank Dunn says, "I also get told I look like Nick Cage." So you go from looking like Jake Gyllenhaal to Nick Cage. Like at the right angle. Like you look like Jake Gyllenhaal from a distant view, but up close you look like Nick Cage. Interesting. Frightening, but interesting. Well, gosh. You want to find some treasure or something? All right, guys, I'm going to take a few more questions, and then I'm going to try to get ready for the live stream here in about an hour, but I'll dive into your questions over here. What do we got here? We got one from DJ Crackmix who says, "The Mummy of Terminator 3. Oh, I love me some Mummy, man. That's a perfect, bombastic, fun, big B movie, man, and I wish we got some more movies like that. Like Uncharted should have been as good as The Mummy. Like it could have been. It had everything working that it needed to. It had like a good cast. Unfortunately, it just didn't have that heart and vitality of something like The Mummy, But I like me some Mummy. Man-Bat would be a cool villain. I don't feel like Man-Bat would quite belong in this current rendition of the Batman. But I do hope maybe one day they bring back Deathstroke. Deathstroke would be a good villain. I've always wanted to see another version of Bane, to be honest with you. I feel like you could do another rendition of Bane and make it make sense, and actually like cast a guy who's like 6'5" for the role. I'm just a huge fan of the character of Bane. I like any villain that can impose physicality against Batman. I've always liked villains like that. Hey John, I agree with a lot of your critiques for films, color tones, and alike. Well, thanks for that. Yeah, there's something about the grading of films, like the color grading of a film or the color timing of a film, and it can either make or break some movies for me. And I hate, I remember James Bond 007 Spectre. And I remember the color grading of that movie was so warm and almost sepia. It was like, it made you tired to look at it. I vividly remember thinking that I wish that was anything other than what it is. But then you look at like the color timing of I'm trying to think of another, like you look at the color timing of Terminator 2 Judgment Day, and it has sort of like a blue steel look to it. Like it's very cold, and that's like perfect. It just sets the tone of the movie. So yeah, things like that have always eaten away at me. We got Almgren here. Hey Almgren, how's it going? If you got the role as Batman, would you take it? Yes, I would take the role of the janitor in the background cleaning up vomit in a Batman movie. Come on, man. Absolutely. Do I have the acting chops? Absolutely not. But would I do it? Yes. Would I be a worse Batman than George Clooney? Probably. But hey, I'd be there. Uh, let's see. What else do we have here? God, you guys are killing it with the questions, man. Thank you guys. Zane says, Happy Johnny Unitas. If you were Batman, what villain would you like to beat the shit out of? Probably the Mad Hatter. I don't know why he's always rubbed me the wrong way. Probably the Mad Hatter. Yeah, I go with that. I don't know why. I just want to take his hat and smash it into his face. Ever since watching him in the Batman animated series, I just never liked him. I was like, this is like a crappy poor man's version of the Joker. All right, the next one here. Schwartz18 says, showed my dad Nightcrawler. He loved it. Man, Nightcrawler is my all-time favorite movie. It's just dark, gritty. It takes place at night. It's just the storyline. Like, in another life, I would love to do what Louis Bloom does in Nightcrawler. Like, if I could make YouTube videos, I would probably drive around the streets of Los Angeles recording shady shit. That would be phenomenal. I don't know why. Something about that just excites me. Now, would I drag people out of their cars to get a better shot? I'm not saying I would, but I'm also not saying I wouldn't. Let's continue. I'm kidding, by the way. The next one comes from Ermin Yabber. Hey, Ermin, how's it going? Bless us with some early Batman memories of yours. Man, I remember watching Batman, 89 Batman on VHS all the time as a kid. I'd lay my dog, I had a dog named Boomer. I'd lay on his belly like he was a pillow and watch that movie. And I always remember the Looney Tunes fan club commercial before Batman on the VHS. And it was like Daffy Duck saying, if you want to sign up for the Warner Brothers fan club, do it now. Like that was my Daffy Duck impression. I'm sorry I did not have a stroke, but I vividly remember that. I also remember, and I don't know if I did or didn't, but I feel like I saw Batman Returns in the theaters as a kid. Now I feel like I did. And I remember just being so like blown away by how creepy the Penguin was. Like this creepy circus freak with a French flipper trick who kidnaps children. And for some odd reason, I thought he was going to kidnap me. Those are a few early memories I have. Both dark and evil. But Claudia Rogajon says, why are you afraid to be comic accurate? I'm not I don't know what you mean. I'm afraid to be comic accurate. I'm not making these movies, man. I think there's a fine line between comic accurate and just steering away from what makes the comics great. I think sometimes liberties need to be taken for live action adaptations of things. But I don't know. Like sometimes I like different incarnations of things. Like I liked the Dark Knight trilogy. Is it accurate to something like the Batman animated series? No, not really. But as long as you have the things that make Batman great in the story, then I think it's fine. It's all about the story, man. Trying to catch up on the questions here. Oh, we have one here from Hayden Cash. She will be mine. Oh, yes, she will be mine. Wayne's World. Funny thing is, I just watched Wayne's World the other day, and I still love that movie. I have the Blu-ray of it. It has a Blu-ray steelbook, which looks really cool. Like the case is all orange. I love this scene in Wayne's World where Garth is like messing with his electronic hands on the set of the Wayne's World show. And Rob Lowe is like, hey, Garth, we haven't really had a chance to talk, have we? And Garth like starts smashing the hand after it's moving with a hammer. I laughed my ass off for 20 minutes about that. Oh, Wayne's World. I love the concept, let alone like the concept of Wayne's World, two dudes in their mother's basement making a public access show. That was my life when I started YouTube, except I was talking about movies on the internet on YouTube. So I relate to it. Rich Gallagher says, I want a Batman Beyond movie series. Always thought Dylan O'Brien would be great as Terry McGinnis and Clint Eastwood as old Bruce Wayne. Well, I think you should, for some reason my brain just forgot the name of the kid in the new Dune movie. Lead actor in Dune. Either way, take him, make him the lead role as Batman in the Batman Beyond series, make it a very expensive HBO Max series, right? And I get what you're going with for Clint Eastwood. I think he's a little too old. Maybe like 15 years ago, Clint Eastwood would have been good. I would say just since Michael Keaton is now the old vintage Batman for the DC universe, according to the upcoming Flash movie, just make him old Batman. There you go. I mean, that's the Batman Beyond series I'd like to see, and make it very expensive. Like I want HBO to put a lot of money into this. I want them to like treat it like they treated Game of Thrones season 1 through 7. I always thought that would be kind of a cool thing. Yeah, Timothy Chalamet. The next one comes from, and by the way, guys, I have about 15 more minutes. Because then I have to wrap up the live show. But don't worry, I'm going to get to all of your questions. So if you have questions right now, I would say get them in, because I'm easily going to spend the next 15 minutes covering the rest of the questions, because I do have to get ready for that Patreon/YouTube member hangout a little bit later. And to be honest with you, what I have to do is I have to eat. I went to the gym. There's a snowstorm. I live in Indiana. There was like a huge snowstorm, and I haven't had a chance to eat my sandwich yet. Because I'm here talking about Batman. But you don't need food. Food's for the weak and the innocent. All right. The next one comes from Marini Ferlazzo. Marini Ferlazzo. That's a cool name. And he says, I tried watching the new Mighty Ducks show on Disney Plus and couldn't finish it. Yeah, you and me both, man. I started watching that, and I watched like the first episode, and I was like, you know what? I don't think I need to watch this. Something about it just didn't feel enticing. I was like, listen, I'll just go watch Mighty Ducks 2, D2, where they go to the Olympics. It's knuckle puck time. Like, the new series for me, and plus I think a lot of the cast members didn't want to return. And after like the first season, Emilio Estevez didn't want to return because of some stupid dispute. So yeah, no one really talked about it. It came out and no one talked about it, and it was instantly forgotten. It's so sanitized compared to the original film. Do you think kids' films will ever return to the gritty/real feel of the 80s and 90s, or are those films never coming back? It's hard to say, you know. I feel like every once in a while we get a movie like that. Now, I wouldn't necessarily call the Mighty Ducks gritty. I don't know if I would go that far. No, I would not. But I remember movies like, even like Stand By Me. You know, that's sort of a dark movie to say the least, and I would like more movies like that. I mean, there's been a few over the years. I mean, the last one I can think of was like the Matthew McConaughey flick, Mud, which was sort of a coming of age story. But yeah, as far as like gritty movies, I don't think Mighty Ducks fits that. But movies like that, that just stand the test of time, even movies like the first Home Alone movie. Like, we get that. We get the phenomenal Home Alone. And then we get the new Disney Plus reimagining shitty version of it, and like that's the best they could do. Doesn't that just make you lose faith in humanity? Schwartz18 says, showed my dad. I already answered this question. Sorry. All right, you got one here. TT says, long-time viewer, first-time super chatter. Thanks for that, man. The Batman is almost here, dude. My expectations are through the roof, and I have a good feeling it will deliver. Keep up the vids. Cheers. Oh, thanks, man. My life, the core of my being that keeps my heart palpitating depends on this movie being good. Because if it's not, I've been slowly but surely losing faith in cinema. And I need this. My expectations are high. I will not lie to you. I have a good feeling, though. I feel like it's in good hands. So I'm hoping we all enjoy the movie. And I will, of course, talk about it extensively once I do see it. Mike Spoon says, keep one, delete one. Batman Returns, The Dark Knight Rises. I don't like that question because Batman Returns really had a lot of fun stuff for it, and it also had a lot of hokey shit in it. The Dark Knight Rises had many flaws, though I did really enjoy it, and it was sort of the culmination of the Dark Knight trilogy. I more or less thought was good. I still say they should have, and for me, maybe I just like a dark ending, but I sort of wish they would have just made it clear that Batman died and sacrificed himself for Gotham City rather than randomly showing up to hold up his drink at the end of the movie, which just felt like maybe a daydream by Alfred, which was what I like to think it is. Like Alfred was just in his happy place imagining things. I like to think Christian Bale's Batman died. So on that token, I would say I hate that question, man, because I like Penguin and Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman. What would you guys do? Which one would you do? You have to get rid of one forever. Batman Returns or The Dark Knight Rises? Let me know in the comments over here. I can't answer that question. That one stumped me. Almgren says, who is your favorite Batman actor? I'm going to go with Christian Bale. I think he's probably one of the best actors to actually portray the role, so I'd go with Bale. Though I did like what Ben Affleck was doing. Crim and Cheese says, what do you think about the movie Jumper? I thought it deserved a sequel. I hated that movie, man. That to me, movies like that remind me of movies like Uncharted. Like, you have all these things you can do, but the things you do just don't come across very well and sort of cheapen the movie. I vaguely remember Jumper. And that was a weird time in films. I remember like a slew of movies were coming out. What was that? Nicolas Cage. Well, he has like 87 movies that come out per year, but there was a Nicolas Cage movie that came out, like 3 of them around that same time Jumper came out, where one, he was like a wizard. The other one, he plays a magician. And I was like, wow, what is like, just like it was a weird phase of like really bad, forgettable movies. So I was not a fan of Jumper, but I'm glad you enjoyed watching Hayden Christensen do it. Claudia Rojon says, you don't want comic accurate, Mr. Freeze. Your idea sounds like something the show Gotham would think of, no offense. So what version do you want? Arnold, Mr. Freeze, being hokey and corny and campy, wearing an 80-pound Mr. Freeze suit where he freezes things with a freeze ray? That doesn't fit into the current incarnation of Batman. It just doesn't, man. I mean, it just doesn't. I mean, the Riddler in this film is essentially a serial killer. He is the Zodiac killer. He's not dancing around with question marks in a leotard, man. I don't know what you're saying. I mean, you gotta change things up. You have to get the character of Mr. Freeze right. So if you get the overall character right, that's fine. He's sort of flawed. He's driven to this because of his wife, and he's trying to save her. And the way he goes about it, his ideology is a bit flawed, but you can understand why he's doing it. As long as you get the ideology right about the villain, that's the character. I don't need him to freeze shit. Oh, I'm making it cold now. Yeah, I can do the same thing. It's called a freezer. I keep popsicles in it. Someone says Jumper had potential, but failed miserably. I agree. All right, so we have some people chiming in over here. Let's see what you guys had to say. Batman Returns, easy. Dark Knight Rises. So it's pretty mixed. It's like a 50-50 right now. Yeah, for me, there's so much nostalgia with the Batman Returns, but the Dark Knight Rises, you need that complete trilogy. It's tough to say, man. I can't. Mike Peters says, have you seen Return of the Joker? I have not. I know everyone says Mask of the Phantasm is the best, but I love to see a live-action version of this. Yeah, I have not seen it. For me, when it comes to the animated films, Phantasm, I know a lot of people love it, but I really like The Dark Knight Returns. I thought that was really well done. And I love the score to it. It has a great score. Faisal H says, hey, John, I saw an account on Letterhead with your name, John, a.k.a. The Flick Pick, and I'm not sure if that's the real you. I did make a letterhead. Did you say letterhead or you mean letterbox? I have a letterbox account, but I haven't done anything with it. That could be me. I don't know what letterhead is. So I don't know if that's, it might not be me. So sorry. Welcome to 2022, where Stuckman will like everything and John hates everything. I don't hate everything. I just keep it real with you. I cannot fluff my opinion. I can't pretend like I like something. I'm going to call it out for what it is. I just feel like if you make a movie that's similar to another movie, then make your movie better or expand on things that other movie didn't do. But if you make another or if you make something so similar that's already been done 50 other times and yours is worse than all those other movies that came before it, then why does that movie exist? And things like that bother me. And I just can't sit there and go, oh, I liked Uncharted. It was a fun family adventure film with Tom Holland playing Peter Parker looking for a treasure hunt where he goes 2 places in this globe-trotting adventure. Yay! By the way, it's a movie no one's going to talk about in 6 months, but it made money, so it will get greenlit for a sequel. I just can't do things. I just can't do it. I don't know why. But I will say this. At least you'll hear a real honest opinion. And I know that, listen, I could fake positivity, and I know sometimes that's what people want. Sometimes what people want, they want regurgitated baby food put into a blender for easy mass consumption because we all like it. I get it. It's easy to drink. But I couldn't live with myself if I did that. Oh, you didn't mean Letterboxd. Yeah, so if it's on Letterboxd, it probably is my account, but I probably won't ever do anything with it. Something about the way Letterboxd works, it seems like a lot of effort to like use it. And plus, like, if I didn't make YouTube videos, I guess if I just like movies, I'd probably use Letterboxd, but I sort of just put my opinions on YouTube. And for me, I've always liked to voice my opinions more than type them or text them out because I feel like some of the things I say gets lost in context very easily. So that probably was my account, though. John is rustling some people's jimmies, and I'm here for it. Thanks, man. Under the Red Hood is my top 5 animated Batman movies. Yeah, Under the Red Hood was good. I vaguely remember it, but I remember it being entertaining. Was watching Speed. It's pretty tasty baby food. Speed is a great, phenomenal action film that puts you on a thrill ride that doesn't end for an hour and 45 minutes. Speed is great. The Batman is going to be the best Batman movie. Hey, even if it's not the best Batman movie, as long as it's a good Batman movie, that's all I need. I don't need it to be better than The Dark Knight, but if it tries something different and is the best version of itself, I'll be content. Conjuring 3 was disappointing, just saying. I agree, Conjuring 3 was disappointing. We got one here, and by the way, I'm going to take a few more questions, guys. Young Doss says, what happened to horror films? They aren't scary. Yeah, there's really immersive horror films. Every once in a while we get a good one, but I agree. You need something that takes its time. Now, for me, I've never thought slasher films were scary, but like a nice slow-paced horror film, always great. And I remember watching, you need the atmosphere just right? You need like that atmospheric tone. And even going, like, if you watch the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which I do have a review coming. I know I said that before, but I have one. If you compare that to the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it's just like one got the tone right. One gets you immersed into the story where you feel like you're in this situation. And the other is just like, well, here's Leatherface, but now he's Jason Voorhees. And, well, we're going to put a whole bunch of blood in there to make up for the shitty storyline. And some people are okay with that. I get it. If you just want to see blood, guts, and gore, and you don't give a shit about anything that comes in between, I get it. But for me, those blood, guts, and gore mean so much more if I give a shit about who's getting chainsawed to death. Chris R. says, hey, John, what are your thoughts on Stone Cold possibly returning to this year's WrestleMania to wrestle? I think it says a lot about the current state of WWE, and they don't really make new stars as much as they just bring old ones back. And I love me some Stone Cold. I was a huge fanboy for wrestling back in the Attitude Era, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, and I'm looking forward to it. I hope he can still do it, man. I mean, he still looks like he's in pretty good shape from his pictures on Instagram. So, Edward Nido says, thanks for keeping it real, John. I do my best, man, and thanks for the super chat and watching. Yeah, I try. I know. I try. I try to give my opinions. A lot of people say, John, you hate everything. It's not that I hate everything. It's just everything sucks. If everything was great, I would love everything. That's the thing. And the films I do love, I will always put them on a pedestal and praise them until the day I die. I just feel like most films are just sort of instantly forgettable. And I feel like sometimes it's unexcusable. When you have a studio that has unlimited potential, unlimited money, they can do whatever they want to do. And this is like the product they put out, where it becomes this mediocre piece of content just for consumption. I just feel like that's going to keep going and going to the point where it just becomes the norm. And if everything's just blah and you forget about it, the worst thing you can say about a movie is, it was okay. It was okay. Yeah, okay. So if that becomes the norm and Hollywood goes, okay, we can just make okay movies, but it makes a lot of money, then guess what? You're going to start getting a slew of just okay movies. And for me, that makes me sad. Quiet Chris says, hi, John. Well, thanks for not being quiet, Chris. Thanks, man. How's it going, Quiet Chris? Oh, man. Get me worked up, guys. All right. So real quick, once again, I will reiterate what I've already said 3 times. We are doing a members only / Patreon members only live hangout tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. The links are on the community tab of this channel right here. Also, the link would be on the FlickPick community tab channel and also on the Patreon feed. I posted the links yesterday. You click the link, you will be put into a waiting room. If you guys want to talk, if you guys want to turn on your webcams, you can do that. You can join me. We're going to do it for about 45 minutes. And I would recommend wearing headphones if you do join the hangout. That way, once again, there's not a lot of echo going on and everyone can hear each other. So yeah, in about a half hour, we will do the hangout. Look for the link on the community tab. But once again, and by the way, we put up a brand new episode of the Patreon / YouTube member podcast yesterday. It's about an hour and a half long. We talk about Uncharted and we go into a deep dive discussion about all of your questions you guys submitted for the podcast. So that is live now as well. Did anyone see the Batman? No. Well, they had a UK red carpet event of the film. So yeah, people saw it. The embargo has not lifted for the film yet. So the true deep dive of the reviews have not been released yet. But some people have just released little quotes, what they thought about the movie. Just little blurbs, which I talked about in the beginning of this live show. Uncharted and Red Notice are both okay movies. I wouldn't even say they're okay movies. Like, no, they're okay. No, I wouldn't even go that far with those. Haven't bothered with Red Notice yet, nor should you. Some of the worst green screen for a $200 million movie I've ever seen. Hey, John, could you wish my brother, Ben, a happy birthday? Thanks! Yes, Morg, the editor, and don't spam the chat, man. Come on. But happy birthday to your brother, man. We got Josh Coffey, this guy. Thoughts on Friends? It was okay. I kind of relate to Joey, I guess, but I was more of a Seinfeld guy. Always and forever. Friends, for me, just didn't quite give me what I wanted to see. Just remember that people are giving it a positive rating are Access Media shills. Which movie is getting the positive rating? Yeah, just watch Uncharted on Netflix. To me, Uncharted is sort of like the definition of like a Netflix movie. You just watch it when you're half dead and you don't care. It's just like vegetative like noise in the background. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up the live show here. We did about an hour, and I don't have any more time because I do got to get ready for this live hangout in 30 minutes. And I do want to eat my turkey sandwich I picked up at the store right before going live. But as always, guys, thank you guys so much for the questions, hanging out, talking about Batman for about an hour. And as always, if you can, it does help that stupid YouTube algorithm. Give the video a like if you were mildly entertained. And even if you weren't, I mean, give it a like anyway. Put it to the man. Show YouTube they can't suppress us. Not today and not ever. As always, leave your thoughts, your opinions down below in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys. And I truly do mean that. Thank you for just sitting here looking at my stupid face for an hour. It does mean a lot. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Stay safe. And I'll see you guys in a few more days with a brand new video. And also, if you guys are members or Patreon members, I'll see you in the live hangout in 30 minutes. Click that link. I'll see you there. Take care. Bye-bye, guys.